This should be my last video of the day. Should be, unless there's a trade that comes down or a big free agent signing. But in all likelihood, this should end it out. So Trevor Van Riemsdyk is signed by the Washington Capitals. 1 year, $800,000. Depth signing on the blue line. No complaints about that. And wishing him the best and all of that wonderful stuff coming out of Carolina. So again, it's a team acquiring a guy that they probably know pretty well from the fact that he played for a rival. We'll see how things go for Van Riemsdyk. Nikita Zadorov, this happened just before the trade to Colorado, but it came out after the trade to Colorado. That Nikita Zadorov had signed a 1 year, $3.2 million offer and then was traded to the Chicago Blackhawks. So Nikita Zadorov is a member of the Hawks and he's paid. And so we'll see a year from now how much he's worth and how much he helps his value this offseason. Well, this upcoming season after signing in the offseason. And again, you know, I've seen some rumors that there's some panic from Hawks fans. They weren't making they haven't made the playoffs in a couple of years. Brendan Saad is a streaky player, and I can understand the Hawks trading him off. There's a reason he keeps being traded, but again, you know, I understand too that everybody's very reactionary right now. So all these moves are going down. Everybody's very, very reactionary. Speaking of which, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Zach Bogosian signs a 1 year, $1 million contract. And Maple Leafs, of course, Leafs Twitter is also, you know, in the news. And Steve Simmons, being Steve Simmons and all that. And if you haven't seen, go over to Twitter and look. I'm not going to talk about it here. But Zach Bogosian signs a 1 year, $1 million contract. And I have to say, I don't mind this at all. Zach Bogosian showed for Tampa that in limited minutes, in certain situations, he can be a useful defenseman. He is not a top 4 guy at this stage in his career, but at 1 year, $1 million, there's no risk. I like what Kyle Dubas is doing here. I'm going to straight up say it. I do. I like what he's doing. I like how he's trying to change the way that this team is going to look, the way this team's going to play. And again, once we start the 2020-21 season, which we have no idea when that's going to start, the Leafs are going to look quite different than they looked when they got knocked out by the Columbus Blue Jackets. And of course, Bogosian brings a Stanley Cup ring. And those are not to be shifted aside. Now, for day one, we had 80 signings, $302 million in contracts handed out. Day two, 37 signings, $103 million handed out. That's 117 players. So that's why I've been selectively reporting, because if I throw 117 names into videos, yeah, I mean, even with the amount that I've been throwing out there, I understand that there's going to be some that we forget. That'll do videos, people will watch the videos, and then 2 months from now, they're going to go, I totally forgot Bogosian was on the Leafs. I totally forgot Van Riemsdyk was on the Caps. So a lot of work being done by general managers, and I know there are some being shut out to this stage that people are upset about, but again, we can't overreact to what happens in free agency. You look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, who just won the Cup, and they kind of won it with what they did at the deadline, picking up Coleman, picking up Gaudreau, changing their makeup. And it wasn't as much about what they did through free agency. So free agency is nice. It's wonderful. It's fun to watch and see what happens. But it is only part of the story. So as long as you have a team that's built well, a team that's able to get those prospects built from within, to take those roster spots as needed, you're in good shape. And so you have to have just a little bit of faith in the team that's still left, and we'll see what happens. And again, we're not done. There's a lot of big names that are still out there. And I wanted to pause as well in this video, my 6th of today, to thank those who have subscribed and to thank longtime subscribers for every like and every comment on videos. This channel has now had 166,000 subscribers. It has gained a lot of subscribers over the last 7 days. We have a long off season ahead of us potentially. There's a lot of uncertainty, of course, with what's going on globally. And so, you know, with the craziness over the last week, I see that as gaining subscribers and gaining momentum for the channel, going into, again, the uncertainty of the off season, where I will be producing, again, the daily videos, the daily content, putting together playlists, and having some fun with it. Because honestly, during the shutdown from March through August, I learned a lot about what generates interest, what people want to see. And so I'm going to take some of those lessons I learned from that, which I think what I learned out of that was that the playlists are important, but don't overly rely on playlists. That's something I learned, is don't overly rely on playlists. Be ready to do some sort of reaction videos. Be ready to do some fun top 10 videos. And of course, since it's the off season, maybe I'll do what I do every offseason, which gets people talking, which is me ranking the best defensemen in the league, centers, wingers, goaltenders, all that wonderful stuff, so people can get angry. Even though I don't claim any level of expertise or anything of that nature, I just watch as many games as humanly possible, and then I try to base my rankings based on what I watched. So I'm looking forward to that, and more signings over the next few days. I know that'll keep me busy. And for people wondering, how are you sleeping and all that? Well, last night it was all full of nightmares and everything. So that was fun. But in general, this is the time of year where I know I'm not going to get a lot of sleep anyways. But that's okay. Because, again, it's understandable. It's a part of anybody's job. People watching this right now, you've likely had days of overtime and days of crazy hours and all that. So it's just that for me. So I really don't think it's that big of a deal. But hey, 166,000. That is an impressive number, and thanks to each and every one of you who have subscribed along the way. And for those who haven't, if you don't feel like it, that's fine too. The views count for things, and all comments, likes, and all engagement definitely all matters. So thank you guys so much for helping this channel trend over this period as well, and all of that is appreciated. And we'll start again tomorrow, I would think, with more signings. And yes, if your team's been shut out to this point, we may look back a year from now and say the smartest signing was made after the first day of free agency. That's happened many, many times, and it's something I can do videos on during the off season. So thank you guys so much again. I will talk to you guys, I'm hoping, tomorrow morning, but we'll see what happens from here on tonight. Thanks again.